Hi, I'm Jim Gordon and you're watching Market 1 Minute. Joining us is Max Porterfield. He is the President, CEO, and Director of Visionary Copper and Gold Mines. Max, welcome.
Thanks again for having me today.
You're quite welcome, sir. Okay, give us a brief overview about Visionary Copper and Gold and specifically the Point Leamington project.
Yeah, so Visionary Copper and Gold is advancing a portfolio of base and precious metal rich in both gold and copper deposits across key Canadian mining jurisdictions in Canada, with a focus on the deposit Point Leamington, which sits in the province of Newfoundland, which is a sizable gold copper rich, also carries zinc and silver VMS deposit that's seeing its first pass of exploration that we've just concluded in over 20 years. So we're advancing as an open-pittable operation, and so we're very, very excited with their initial results and what's to come ahead.
And Max, have the recent drill results helped validate or expand the existing resource footprint?
Phase one was successful in doing both, validating and expanding the resource. On the validation standpoint, a few of the holes that we were drilling were going through the existing resource and confirmed what we already knew and what we enjoyed about Point Leamington, which is those wide intervals of both copper and gold, as well as zinc and silver that sits within the existing resource. On the expansion front, we were successful in expanding the strike extent to the south on a very large step-out hole, the first hole of the campaign, in fact. And then the really focal point from the campaign on is hole 2, which is where we discovered an adjacent zone of copper mineralization right next to the existing resource, which we're calling Kraken. So phase 1 was successful in both defining the existing resource and targeting new areas of expansion, which we'll begin delineating moving forward.
And what makes this zone particularly significant for the overall potential of the Point Leamington project?
Well, if you look at a lot of the deposits that are like Point Leamington, many of them have a robust endowment of copper that sits next to them. And that was one of the things that we were testing in phase 1. It was something that was overlooked historically and it wasn't adequately tested. And so we were looking to see if that was a potential. And Kraken emerged quickly thereafter, and that's what we focused on since that first hole into that area.
And Max, talk about the advantages of operating in Newfoundland. What does it provide you for continuing to advance Point Leamington?
Well, Newfoundland's one of the top jurisdictions globally. In fact, it ranks in the top 10 jurisdictions globally from an exploration perspective, according to the Fraser Institute. And that's supported because of its long-established rule of law that's very supportive of exploration and development of mines and a permitting regime. You've got that endowment geologically for the pedigree for discoveries to be made, which is why we're there in the first place. And then all these discoveries historically have led into existing infrastructure in the area with roads, ports, those type of things are all there that support and make exploration much more viable and making a discovery quickly transition to a development story and onto production.
And you just recently announced an expanded land package at Point Leamington. Can you tell us a bit more about that and what are your goals and what do you hope to achieve?
Yes, certainly. So if you look at the exploration that's occurred in the area, it's been very limited outside a real focal point on the Point Leamington deposit itself. But these deposits occur in clusters, which is why they form known mining jurisdictions. And Point Leamington is the only one that's been discovered in this particular region so far. This expanded land package provides the vision for new discoveries to be made in the region, like Point Leamington, to really build a robust resource base with a very long mine life is what we're looking to achieve there.
And Max, finally, for investors who follow Visionary Copper and Gold, what are the milestones or catalysts that they should be paying attention to?
It's really going to be how we're advancing things at Point Leamington, particularly with the drill bit. And we'll be soon to be announcing a planned phase 2 program. And the phase 2 is going to be, again, focused on aggressively upgrading the current resource as well as defining these new areas of growth like the Kraken that we discussed earlier.
Max, thanks for joining us.
Thanks again for having me.
You're quite welcome. Hi, I'm Jim Gordon. Thanks for watching this Market 1 Minute on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with other videos that we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click on this list to see other great videos from Market 1. And thank you again for watching.